The city does not collapse in a single, thunderous crash. It drains. High above the neon-drenched streets, rain falls in rhythmic sheets, washing over a metropolis that pulses with a hidden, sickly red glow. Beneath the surface of every skyscraper and factory, invisible veins of energy bleed out, vanishing into the dark. It is a slow, silent erosion. Inside a cramped electronics shop, Elias stands behind a counter that feels more like a barricade. His eyes, rimmed with the exhaustion of 1,000 sleepless nights, drift toward a stack of unpaid bills. The lights above him flicker, casting long, nervous shadows. Outside, the world moves on, indifferent to his struggle. He watches customers walk past his storefront, their faces illuminated by the cold blue light of their devices, never once glancing his way. He grips the edge of the counter, his knuckles white, as he tries to tally the numbers one more time. The math does not add up. It never does. He blames the shifting market, the aggressive competition, and the unpredictable economy. He tells himself it is anything but the truth. He reaches for the main breaker, his hand trembling, and pulls it down. The shop plunges into darkness, leaving him alone with the hum of the city outside. A sharp crack of static snapped Elias out of his stupor. In the corner of the shop, an old diagnostic unit sputtered, its screen flickering violently, for a heartbeat. A jagged streak of red energy leaked from the frame, burning against the dim room before snapping back into place. Elias stepped forward, his breath hitching, but the machine went cold. He pushed out into the rain, his boots splashing through oily puddles as he scanned the alleyway. The air felt heavy, charged with a static that made the hair on his arms stand up. A figure emerged from the mist, standing perfectly still. A faint, steady green aura clung to the stranger, casting a soft glow that refused to mingle with the city's neon haze. The stranger turned, their face obscured by the shadow of a hood, and spoke. The voice was a low, gravelly whisper that cut through the sound of the falling rain. "Tell me," the figure asked, "do you know where your money goes after you lose it?" Elias opened his mouth to answer, but the world suddenly glitched. The red energy he had seen in his shop was no longer hidden. It flowed visibly through the wires, the walls, and the very air of the city. He saw the truth. Loss did not simply disappear. It moved. Back inside the shop, the vision was absolute. The walls seemed to breathe with a sickly, rhythmic pulse. Every frayed cord emitted a jagged red glow, and the inventory shelves bled light like open wounds. Elias stumbled toward the back, his hands shaking as he grabbed a heavy power cable. He yanked it from the wall, the plastic casing burning his palms. The red light flickered, but the leak only intensified, spreading across the floorboards like spilled ink. He scrambled to the next machine, tearing at the wiring with a desperate clawing motion. He ripped panels from their hinges and kicked over a stack of monitors, his breath coming in sharp, ragged gasps. Every connection he severed only seemed to expose more of the red pulsing decay. He grabbed the main junction box, his fingers slick with sweat, and wrenched the heavy lever down with a guttural shout. A final, blinding flash of red static filled the room, followed by a sharp, metallic groan of dying machinery. Then the shop fell into total, suffocating darkness. The darkness was not just an absence of light. It was a weight. Elias stood motionless, his chest heaving, listening to the drip of condensation hitting the floor. He had killed the shop to save it, yet the silence felt like a tomb. He reached out, his hand brushing against a cold, metal workbench, and then he saw it. A single, steady green glow pulsed from the center of the debris. It did not flicker like the red decay. It did not bleed. It held its shape, soft and rhythmic, like a heartbeat. Elias stepped closer, his boots crunching on broken glass. He knelt, the cold floor biting into his knees, and watched the light illuminate the dust motes dancing in the air. He realized then he had not been stopping a leak. He didn't earn more. He stopped losing. All this time, he had been severing the lifeblood of his own work. He reached out, his fingers hovering inches from the glow. The light felt warm, grounded, and purposeful. He stopped breathing for a second. The panic was gone. In its place was a quiet, heavy understanding. He leaned back, letting the green light wash over his face. Elias rose and moved to the window. The rain still fell, but the city had changed. He saw the people outside, their forms traced in gold and green, connected by invisible threads of purpose. He looked up. High above the skyline, a massive, shifting shadow hung in the clouds. hungrily absorbing the red energy leaking from the streets below. It was a parasite of waste, feeding on every lost opportunity and every broken connection. Elias did not flinch. He stood tall, his gaze fixed on the dark mass above. The green light within him pulsed, steady and defiant. He had only seen the surface, and the system was far bigger than he imagined. If you could see where your business is losing money, what would you change?